Right on. All right, so I'm Breez. This is the MMA Breez show. Welcome. Thanks for thanks for joining us today. We have Ray Cooper the third. You have coming off of a very impressive performance in your last PFL bout. Are you any news on who your next opponent's going to be?
Yeah, I think this Russian Nikolai, I forget his last name.
Okay, right, all right. So you didn't get the fight that you were calling for, huh? For the rematch.
Yeah, but it's all right. We just gotta be ready for fight anybody, and yeah.
Yeah, I know it doesn't matter too much to you, but I'm sure we'll get that rematch. Excuse me, that rematch eventually. But hey, I want to get some background on you. You come from a wrestling family. You have quite the wrestling background. You started at the age of 6, was it?
Yeah, 67, yeah, around there.
Okay, good deal. And I read that you were a 3-time Hawaii State champion. Your siblings have similar accolades. Did you guys? Are you guys seem pretty close in age? Did you guys get to wrestle each other growing up, as you were all competing?
Not as much because I'm the oldest, so my brothers are kind of my third youngest brother is like 3 years, and then it goes every year, so like 5 and then 6 years apart. So they're kind of younger, but once they got to high school, then I got to wrestle them more, and yeah, we all just wrestled when we was young, and it was
Oh,
our thing.
so you guys probably get to go at it a little bit more serious now that they're a little older, huh?
Yeah, just
Cool.
to pick up the pace, and
Definitely.
yeah,
I'm sure it benefited them having an older brother like you paving the way and still competing into, your 20s to roll around and give them advice.
yeah, it's good to be able to show them the ways not to do it and then the ways to do it, because there's sometimes going when you're younger, you're going through this fighting. It's you got to be a little bit more mature about things, and just to show them not to the right ways to do things and the right ways how to train. And yeah, because I went through some ups and downs in my careers in the beginning when I started off. So it's good to just show them the right ways to do stuff.
Definitely. And I saw that you had, obviously with the accolades that you had in wrestling, I'm sure you would have been offered a chance to go on and wrestle in college. But it seems that you turned that down for a career in martial arts. Why was that? What made you go to MMA over wrestling?
It's just from when I was young. I just wanted to fight, watching my dad fight, and I wasn't a really um, big fan of school. I did well in school, but I just really didn't. I was over going to school another 4 more years, and just with that whole, just doing just homework and work, just doing freaking book works, and I really was not a fan of it. I just wanted to just wrestle, and I wanted to wrestle in college, but just I wasn't really onto the schoolwork, and yeah, so I
I
was
can
gonna go into
understand that.
freestyle
Mhm.
wrestling because it's better. You don't need to do no schoolwork. You just train for your
Yeah.
in the next matches. So
Do
yeah,
some world stuff. Yeah, that's always fun to watch. I love watching me some freestyle wrestling, some Greco wrestling. I competed a little bit in my summers when I was in high school in some freestyle and Greco. It's always interesting. But your
yeah.
whole family, like you said, your dad, he has a fighting background. How much did your whole family dynamic make play a role in you becoming an MMA fighter?
It was mainly planning of my dad, watching my dad fight, watching him train every day. But it was just a hobby for him. He wasn't because he was a wrestler too. He came out of high school wrestling. He went to college, did a while. It wasn't for him. He came back, so there was him and my uncle. They had to like find a different outlet, like of to you know what I mean. Start still compete in that aspect. So they got
Hmm.
into grappling tournaments, and the Gracies would hold tournaments down in Hawaii at the time. So there was grappling tournaments, and then there was like catch wrestling tournaments down here, small fine tournaments. And then once martial art MMA started coming out, they was like, oh wow, they can really do this, and then it just exploded to this big, crazy um, national sport now, and it wasn't really a big thing to my dad then, but now it's a pretty big deal now.
Yeah, I bet. Were you, I think I read, your dad was competing in the early 2000s still. You're about my age, late 20s. Were you competing at the same time your dad was competing?
I wasn't. I was wrestling, just only wrestling.
Yeah.
That was pretty much all I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you ever get to see your dad compete when you were younger?
Oh yeah, I was there for most of his fights, but the ones in Japan I couldn't go. But mostly every fight here was I was there. Yeah.
Right on, man. Right on. That's really cool. So, talking about your career now, you have 100% finishing rate in all your wins. As far as that goes, you don't really leave it up to the judges. So, what about your style specifically gives you such a higher finishing efficiency than other fighters? You think?
I think just the pressure I bring, and not many guys is willing to stand right there and just start trading. And um, I'm not a guy that backs up. So I think just my pressure, just I'm gonna get in your face, and just that's from wrestling. Wrestling, I I um I kind of mimic my wrestling off of how Iowa Hawkeyes wrestling,
Okay.
how they wrestle. Just that freaking constant on, on you, no let you breathe, and just pound your face into the mat the whole freaking 6 minutes or
Yeah,
7 minutes,
man.
however it is. I love Terry Brands and Tom Brands, the way they coach, the way they train, and yeah, that's just how I grew up watching them, and that's how I make my wrestling style in it, and it's just carried over to my fighting career. So
That's
um
cool, man. Do you
yeah,
you
so
watch like each year you keep up with NCAA wrestling much, like still with the current kids
oh
and
yeah, I
tournaments?
watched. That's like a whole day. I don't do nothing. I just watch wrestling all
Heck
day.
yeah.
I love wrestling. I love Iowa. I wanted to go. I got a couple letters to go there, but then just
Mhm.
things didn't happen. But I love that school. I'm freaking diehard
That's
Iowa
awesome.
wrestling fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of my good buddies, his brother was just wrestling for Virginia in the tournament this last year. He qualified for the first time, and he
Oh,
had some
awesome.
tickets. Yeah, we were gonna go, but the whole COVID thing, and the year before that, I was supposed to go, and it fell through. And now I'm regretting it, man. I wish I could.
Damn, you should have went,
Yeah,
bro.
man, seen some live NCAA wrestling, but yeah, so maybe one day, man. Hopefully, all this COVID stuff's been settling down, so we'll see, man.
I
We'll
know.
see.
Yeah.
But as far as the tournament goes, you have a lot of experience making it far in the PFL. You've won the last tournament. You got the $1 million. How is it different this go around now that you've won it? Are you still motivated to just as much as you were? Do you think it's a different type of motivation, or how is the approach different from the first go around and the second go around?
Nothing has changed. Being the best is always the top priority. Being the top the top fighter in your weight class, and that's my goal, and that's gonna always be my goal. Nothing will never change, no matter who's in the tournament. But I think I get the more experience about it. I know. Well, this tournament we're not fighting 2 times in a night, so these new guys not gonna get to experience that, and that's the whole thing about this format is fighting 2 times in a night, and we'll see how tough these new guys in coming from the UFC, how tough their mind is to have to go in there and fight with all your injuries or whatever you sustained during the first fight. Go back, get ready for your next one, and I already think that's affecting this year, but it doesn't matter. The fights is still close. We'll see how these new guys come back for this next fight, and
Yeah.
yeah, I just
And
still the
speaking of
same.
that, having new talent this year, you got Rory McDonald, and he's obviously experienced in multiple other promotions. What do you think about the talent this pool? The talent this year. You have Kayla Harrison talking about how she doesn't feel her weight class is talented enough, and that she insinuates that she may be looking elsewhere next season. How are you satisfied with the current pool of talent in PFL, and what do you think about the additions that they've made lately?
Um, it's a good. I guess they're just trying to. It's a business aspect. You cannot take it personal. Um, that's just business. They're gonna flock to more more experienced and fighters that's been around the game a long time. I've been fighting for a while, but not in the big promotions like these other guys. So it's good for the company, and it's good for my it's good for me. because everybody thinks that these new guys is all that, but freaking I think Pettis just got starched and yeah. So I'm just waiting. I'm just gonna buy my time, and we're gonna meet up sooner or later, and I'm gonna crush him and show everybody that I'm the real deal, and this is my weight class, and yeah.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It's funny how when you really get a good look at the behind the scenes of MMA, I talked to a lot of the guys at Elevation in Colorado, and a lot of guys all over it, and they talk about. And I train here in North Carolina with pros and amateurs, and you see that the playing field in MMA is not as uh, as spaced out as people think between these different organizations. Like there's regional guys that are really good, but there's amateurs that are really good, and it seems sometimes that the UFC guys are untouchable. But like you said, you saw Anthony Pettis come in and not have such a successful debut in PFL. What do you think about the talent versus the UFC and Bellator that PFL has right now? Do you think that you guys are just as stacked as the rest of the organizations?
I think in certain weight classes, there's certain guys that is just as good, or not, if not better. You know what I mean? So, just like what is his name? Chandler. He went from Bellator. He came into the UFC. He got to the freaking lightweight championship in one fight. You know what I mean? So it's like plenty of that is like it's marketing. It's all kind of different things,
yeah.
but there is awesome. There's freaking guys that can give plenty of these UFC guys a run for their money, or if not beat them, because there's a lot of good guys out there, and they just haven't been. They don't have a good manager, or the UFC just not looking that way. You got to be exciting. You know what I mean? There's all kind of different aspects to.
Do you think that in order to be, do you think in order to be the best like you want to be, do you think you need to fight in another promotion? Do you think you need to go on to the UFC or to Bellator? And do you have any interest in that? I mean, you're still pretty young, relatively speaking. It seems like there's a lot of time and a lot of options still on the table.
Yeah, I think the UFC has been around forever. They're the number one guys that started this whole. That's why there is Bellator. That's why there is PFL. It's because of the UFC. The UFC was the first, and at some point in time, you're gonna have to go to the UFC and find out what you made of. That's pretty much the pinnacle of MMA. So, we'll see. Right now, I cannot say. I don't want to say anything right now. I'm good right now, and maybe in the future, I don't know. But if they keep bringing me guys from these good promotions, and I'm gonna keep just smashing them, and it might just be like, oh, the UFC isn't the best. There is other promotions that could rival the UFC. So there's a lot of different things, but right now I'm fine and I'm good.
Yeah, it's hard to walk away from a promotion that's paying you $1 million and you're winning at the same time. So I don't blame you, man.
Yeah.
I don't blame you, man. So what do you think? What do you think about if you make it past this season, you get another win, and you earn the $1 million. What do you think about that $1 million this go around? I know you spent it on some bikes last time. What are you gonna do this go around if you win it?
I'm just gonna keep doing the same thing, bro. Mostly my wife takes all my money, so I give. No, it's nothing. I'm just really just trying to take care of my family and take care of my kids, take my mom and dad, and just keep doing what I'm doing and keep striving to be at the top. And that $1 million is very securing for me. I live in Hawaii. It's one of the most freaking expensive places to live.
I bet.
And yeah, it's I'm just gonna keep racking it up every single year, as much as I can while I'm here. I might be here for a while, so just gonna keep racking it on.
Right on, man. I mean, speaking of living in Hawaii, fighting out of Hawaii, there's been a lot of great fighters to come out of Hawaii. Hawaii is no secret. You guys are breeding, top talent. You have legends like Max Holloway and BJ Penn. How does it feel going out there representing Hawaii, and do you wear that, with a lot of pride? How does that affect you, and how do you wear it going into fight day?
Um, Actually, I'm really I love being from Hawaii and representing. But I mainly represent just for my family and for Jesus Christ, and just to just my family. I love those guys. I love all the Hawaii fighters. I wish them the best, but I really don't um try to be proud of fighting from Hawaii, and that 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 I don't know what it's called, the thing that they always say, the mana, you know what I mean? That's just Hawaiian mythologies that they use, and I really don't believe in any of that. I
Mm,
believe in just Jesus Christ and my family, and I love being from an island boy. I'm a diehard island boy. I love representing for Hawaii, but I'm not into that thing. I just fight for my family and Jesus. And yeah.
gotcha. Right on, man. Right on. Hawaii's not a terribly big place. I mean, I know you hear fighters whenever there's top talent, they like to go get good looks and work with other fighters. Are there some other gyms in Hawaii that you travel to? Have you ever been in the same gym as Max Holloway or some of these other famous Hawaii fighters, or do you really just keep it local?
Yeah, I just keep it local. But when I was younger, when I was wrestling high school, I used to go around. My auntie them had a gym, and my uncle had a gym, 808 Fight Factory and 808 Top Team. I would go around and train with them when I was younger. And nowadays, I really don't. I trained with Christian Lee once.
Oh, cool,
Um,
cool.
yeah, and that's pretty much it. I just don't like doing other people's practices. I don't like to do other things that I don't want to do, and things that I think that don't work. I'm real old school. I just
Man,
run, wrestle, and lift weights, and that's pretty much it.
I like it. It
And
seems to work. I was looking at
yeah,
your story, man. It seemed like you said it seems like an intimate practice. You got your tight circle. You guys are in that garage atmosphere. You got old school dumbbells, treadmills. Just like that old school vibe going on in there. What about that? Can you speak on that really helps your career? Keeping that durability and that old school mentality.
I just feel like this is the best training. This is basics. These new training ideas nowadays, where they're telling you that you don't need to run and you just gotta do like short burst things. It's like, bro, that doesn't work when you got a guy coming at you 100 miles an hour that don't get tired. And it's like, I just feel like this old school mentality works. Hard
Mhm.
training, running miles, lifting weights, and wrestling. That's it. That's all you need, and that's all I was raised on, and that's what got me to these championships. And it's when it's gonna keep getting me championships. Just hard school grinding, and yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. I love it. For a while, there hasn't been fans around for any promotions, and now the UFC's been putting on some events, and Bellator just announced that they're bringing fans back. How excited are you at the idea of fighting in front of fans again? And does it really matter to you?
Um, yeah, it's exciting, but it really doesn't affect my fighting. It is awesome when you see fans in the stands and just the whole atmosphere of it. It's a very
I bet.
crazy feeling that you can't feel, but
I
it's
bet.
awesome.
I can't imagine. The closest euphoria I can get to that is like a high school senior night of wrestling.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh man, no, that's cool, man. That's cool. So, what can we expect to see in your next performance? You got your opponent now. How do you see this playing out? You're a finisher. Can we see? You think we're gonna see another knockout? Or are we gonna maybe see a submission? Or what do you think?
I don't know. I always hunt for the finish. I'm gonna hunt for this finish, for this next finish. Um, the pressure. I'm gonna put the pressure on this guy. We'll see. I don't know. People don't like to trade, or they like to just point fight. So Wherever the fight goes, I'm gonna put the pressure on. If he's gonna run, I'm gonna put him on his back. I'm gonna finish him there. If he's gonna stand, I'm gonna stand with him, and yeah, I'm gonna put him away.
See, speaking of preparation, a lot of people have different perspectives. I always like to ask each fighter what their take is on this. But some people say, with getting ready for a fight, they don't really like to make a game plan. They like to be in the present and react and do their thing. And then there's other fighters that like to really study, watch tape and film, and come up with a blueprint where they want the fight to end up. Where do you fall on that spectrum? Do you like to learn tendencies? Do you like to really have a game plan, or do you like to just kind of go moment by moment?
Yeah, I just get in there, and there's no game plan. I'm going there and try to take your head off, no matter what. I'm gonna come at you. And yeah, my dad usually does that. He just in the moment he's telling me things, but as for me, I'm gonna come at you, 100%, full out. Yeah,
Cool, man. Cool. And so, who can we expect to see in your corner at your next fight?
it's probably gonna be my dad, my two younger brothers, Blake and McCall.
Cool, man. Cool. How tight is your circle in your training camps? Do you say you work with? How many people would you say you spar with it when it gets down to the nitty gritty?
Just three of them, three of my brothers.
That's it, huh?
Yeah,
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And they're fighting too, right? Or at least one of them is, I believe, right?
my two brothers, McCall and Blake is fighting. But since they've been fighting in Hawaii, so they're still amateurs, but they're about to turn pro, and right now everything's closed down here, so it's pretty irritating. So, but
Okay.
I'm trying to get them fights out, probably LFA or some
Titan.
other promotions. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think that those are like probably the best stepping stones that I'm aware of, man. But they got to be
Yeah.
what? They're late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, my brother's like 20. One of them is 24, and my other one is like 20.
And was it, if I'm not mistaken, you won 3 titles in states, and another one of them won 3 state titles.
Yeah, my brother Blake, he won 3, and he was a NAIA national champion.
Oh, right on, man. Right on. So
Yeah.
is he the youngest?
No, he's the third youngest.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool. Well, man, that should be fun to watch them evolve on the circuit. I'll definitely keep my eyes on them. I know your family seems to have a lot of talent, so we'll be looking out, man. But, look, I appreciate you joining me. I know you're very busy. I know we're operating off different times right now, so I appreciate you
Yeah.
accommodating to that. But I'll be tuning into your next fight. We'll connect soon. Hopefully, we can chat, later on in the tournament as you're advancing through. And thank you so much for making the time, man.
Yep, for sure, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, brother.
Hello.